Welcome, Ms. Nicola.
Hi, Tamir.
Hi.
Great to have you here today.
Same here. Good morning, all of you.
Good morning.
It's very nice to see you all in the morning, fresh after your coffee. I think more people to peep in, but we have to be punctual on time, right? So let's start the session today. Today's session is on the fractional investment in the commercial real estate. That is the topic. I would just start the session by inviting and ask Ms. Nicola to introduce herself. Nicola.
Yeah, hi, my name is Nicola Hollender. I'm the general manager from NextGen Investment Group. Originally, I'm from Germany, and what our company is doing, we focus on wealth management, so the whole value chain from wealth generation, wealth management, wealth protection, and wealth digitalization. And what we did so far is digitalization of real estates, of diamonds, and of an island. So it's an exciting venue, and it's the future, and that's why it's so good to talk about it today.
Fantastic, fantastic, Nicola. I've seen your profile and I got introduced today. It's an amazing profile you have, and we have a lot to learn from you today and a lot to listen from you.
So Tamir, tell me a little bit about yourself and your company.
Thanks, Ms. Nicola. I'm Tamil Selvan Ramadoss. I've been here in Dubai for the last 2 decades, in 2002, and I've seen the whole country and especially Dubai growing in leaps and bounds. And I'm being part of this great growth also. Currently, I'm a CFO for a group where we are into various diversified industries in terms of real estate investments, in terms of farms, in terms of electronics, in terms of education business. We are also into rubber reprocessing industry. We are also having a couple of portfolios in contracting business. And you can name it. It's a very diversified group, and I'm heading as a CFO in that particular group for the last 2 years. Before that, I also worked with the government of Dubai in the Dubai Maritime City Authority, and later on got promoted into the Ports, Customs and Free Zone Corporation. So I have an experience of more than almost 13 years working for government of Dubai, where we made Dubai as the world leader in maritime capital city of the world. In the top 10 list, we got into that particular thing. So it's a lot of work we did. And before, I also worked in various industries back in India and also in UAE. Thanks a lot for that. And without further ado, we'll just get into the session. And going with the topic, fractional investment. What is this fractional investment? How do you define that word fractional investment, Ms. Nicola?
Yeah, for most people, it's still very new. So we see it every day because we also educate people what it is, how they can invest in it. And basically, it's all based on the blockchain technology. So in a nutshell, you have the value of the physical asset that is uploaded in a smart contract and then saved on the blockchain. And you have all the assets there instead of having it physically. So it's all digitalized, enables a lot of benefits. So you have full transparency, you have security. It's easy to transfer. It's obviously mobile in seconds. It's less timely and less costly. And for investors, it has a lot of benefits. So obviously with small amount of money, you can buy a fraction of the asset. So before we have crowdfunding, so a lot of investors needed to find a group of investors and then throw real money into it. A lot of challenges again. But with tokenization, it is much more easier, quicker, and transparent. So that's why we have currently a $200 billion market in real estate, and 40% can be fractionalized. And there are studies that they say in 5 years, everything in real estate will be digitalized. So all the real estate agents are ramping up, and obviously the platforms for tokenization. And what we do afterwards is we not only design the tokens, but we are trading it on the exchanges. So our background is marketing, sales, but also professional trading. I'm a professional trader since the age of 18, so 25 years experience now in trading of tokens, coins, NFTs, obviously also stocks, options, and futures. And there is the benefit to generate additional revenue streams for the investors, but also for the real estate owners. And that's why there's a huge demand at the moment and exciting times. And we will talk a little bit about the advantages and also the challenges later on. So Tamil, now I'm interested to get your opinion on this topic.
That's a fantastic start to have a very detailed and well-described concept of this fractional investment that is coming up in the last few years. I would say that's a very novel idea. I just want to add some more points to Ms. Nicola's discussion, is that what is fractional investment? As the nomenclature goes, it's an investment getting divided among some few investors. This has been there for many years in a different shape and form. We all heard about something called time sharing, right? Way back in 80s and 90s, we have vacation homes, we have holiday homes where we can buy few days of that particular property to go and stay there. We don't own the property, we don't rent the property for some time, we just take the ownership of the property for few days. That was the first seed idea for this fractional investment. But that was not an investment per se, it was just an investment in format for a few days. This idea got developed into a bigger concept that has now evolved into something called a commercial real estate fractional investment. For example, you talk about huge asset values like aircrafts or even a very, very cozy and luxury cars. People get into those kinds of fractional investment where few people go and buy it because they cannot individually and independently contribute to the entire capital to that particular asset. And that's the idea how it got elaborated or extended even to the real estate. You talk about owning a flat in Burj Khalifa. Do you think it's individually possible for any one of us to just do it? But we wish we do have that particular money to do it, but individually we do not have. So we collect and pool some crowdfunding with some few common-minded friends who could invest 10%, 20% of that, so that collectively 4 or 5 people join together and you own a flat or a particular apartment in Burj Khalifa, and wow, that's a great dream achieved in your life. So this is where you can see fractional investment has got into this particular part of the world and also throughout the globe. What is the fundamental concept of this fractional investment for an investor? I would call basically 2 Ds. One is called the democratization, and second is called the diversification of your asset portfolio. Then we can talk about other features as well, but these 2 Ds are more capturing for the particular concept of fractional investment. What is democratization? As I gave the example, you individually cannot own a cozy or a very, very luxury apartment. So why not democratize it? Means you share it. You can just have your friends with a common mind and go do it, that particular investment with a common sharing. And that is what democratization of the investment, that idea is possible only with the fractional investment. Second thing is, in any financial investment, we talk about diversification. The common old sayings goes that don't put all your eggs in one bag, right? So similarly here, if you're talking about a million investment, there are a million dirham investment here. You are forced to do in your traditional investment only in one apartment. Now you can put $500,000 or $250,000 in 4 different asset classes. One could be in Dubai, one could be in Abu Dhabi, one could be in Riyadh. Why not? So you can have a diversification of your assets within the same pool of asset classes in different cities, in different formats of assets. Like you can put some part of your 1 million in warehouse asset, some could be in some other commercial real estate asset as well. So this is what democratization and I would say as diversification of asset, that has been the crucial idea of the fractional investment concept. And of course we have the flexibility, and there are a lot of advantages and some challenges also there which we are going to discuss on that. And I think with this startup of the discussion, I just want to ask, how does the overall fractional investment market looks in Europe and per se or even globally, Ms. Nicola?
Yes, so if we look at Europe, obviously some companies are starting in building up their capacities and tokenization, they're launching platforms with the application of smart contracts, but still they're just ramping up. So in terms of technology, some are still scared because some things are not yet regulated. For instance, if you look at land registration, there is a topic, how can you prove the ownership of the real asset? So, and then there's another challenge with data protection and how you go about it country by country. So, and then if you look at US, they are more advanced, and also Germany with DigiShare, for instance, is one company that is focusing on real estate tokenization. And they have done huge projects, so especially in commercial real estate. And the next wave will be more on like retail real estate and private real estate. So in terms of market development, we see a high dynamic. And the beauty is that we have a real physical asset. So it's not like hot air that we had before with coins and NFTs. There was nothing really physical backup in value. So also there was a lot of scamming and frauders in the market. With real estate, it's really protected because you can still have anytime access to the real physical asset. And we need more education, we need more communication on this topic, and then I'm pretty sure also Europe will catch up, and it will be a big global market.
That's fantastic, Ms. Nicola. I think to hear from you the international frameworks and international growth that is happening in this segment of fractional investment. To add up to Ms. Nicola, I would just want to specifically focus on the UAE markets and in this region, and also in the Asia Pacific. I want to give some global statistics on this fractional investment and also on the commercial real estate. If you look at the global market for the commercial real estate, it's a whopping $35 trillion. I repeat, in 2022, it was $34 trillion global markets. In 2023, it is projected to be $35 trillion as a global market. And you talk about the commercial real estate in India, it's almost $67 to $68 billion market. And we talk about Asia Pacific region, it's almost the biggest share in the whole globe is $12 trillion. And you talk about UAE in specific, they're talking about almost $310 billion of the commercial real estate market, which is going to be in 2028 somewhere around $350 billion of market share for the commercial real estate alone. So this is a whopping growth that is happening in real estate, and you are in this part of the world where real estate is one of the greatest investment factor for anybody, not only for the locals, but also for the expatriate communities. This country is ever growing in terms of population, with a lot of influx from the expatriate, like most of us, where we live for decades here. I myself is living in this country for the last 2 decades, and a lot of my friends have made a lot of investments, both in residential and also in commercial real estate in this part of the world, and they did a lot of gains in that particular market as well. And this country has almost 10 million population, with an 8 million population, or 80% of the population being populated with the expatriates. And that's it to grow more and more in the coming years. Now, with the 10 years of golden visa concept, you can almost make this as a second home. I think most of us are doing that. So when you make a second home, we want to have a home to live here permanently. So that makes a investment in real estate. And more importantly, we don't just own houses, we also own commercial real estates where we buy some flats and rent it for rental incomes. But that can be also improved to even more very niche commercial real estates in terms of complexes, in terms of shopping areas, data centers. You can build areas for data centers, for cloud computing, they need areas. So these are all the very niche areas where commercial real estate is growing, and in day by day it's growing. So in that particular commercial real estate space, how this fractional investment is possible. See, already the commercial real estate platform is growing. It's only a different format of owning this commercial real estate, which is done by this democratization of this so-called fractional investment policy. So let's make use of that And that's what everybody like you and me, having some savings from your jobs, savings from your small businesses, that's what they're going to reinvest, which will give a steady income back to you, plus also an appreciation in the capital value of that particular asset.
Right.
And that's what I can see. And I think Ms. Nicola can add more on that. Specifically, I would put some discussion further. How do you think the entire fractional investment model is working? Like you have a traditional model, you go and buy through a real estate agent, you buy some real estates, let it be residential or it be commercial. How do you think, Ms. Nicola, this fractional real estate component or fractional investment is happening in the commercial real estate? How it operates? What is the modus operandi of that?
So we have several models at the moment from companies. So one is like having the platform as a tokenization provider with a smart contract application, and all the real estate agents are linked into this platform so they can see and post also their listings, and although the owners are connected to this platform. So you have a big marketplace. And then obviously if you have the investors also hooked up, then you have a real interaction, and then it's like an auction. You can even bid beforehand of tokenization, the prices, and there will be a lot of trading, and which is good. So it's a competitive market, and once there is an agreement and the contract, and then this contract get digitalized with the assets behind, meaning the proof of ownership, proof of funds, KYC obviously, so everything will be more regulated, it will be more transparent, faster, less costly, and mobile, and in seconds globally. And this is the exciting part of it. In terms of new technology, you can see it immediately on the blockchain, you can follow the whole process, and then obviously you can trade it on open markets, and you can even have a share of the real estate. As an owner, you don't need to throw all your assets on the market. So you're not actually selling it, you're just trading it, which was not possible before, and it becomes more and more liquid in a very illiquid market. So this is so exciting for all the parties that I think there is the best model moving forward to have an open marketplace.
Fantastic. The one key word I could take it from your discussion is that, Ms. Nicola, you are not owning the asset, you're trading on the asset, right? So the first ever time the fractional investment has brought in the idea of trading on real estates. You're not just only owning partially, rather you are able to trade on it, like in your shares, bonds, debentures, or any other stock listed or listed entities where you can go and buy the shares. Similarly, you can even own the shares fractionally. In fact, you're trading on it. Just on what you have elaborated, I will just take further to that is, let me give an example how it operates in some parts of the world, and how it operates here, and also in countries like India. I'll give a live example and a case study. Normally, if you see in countries like India where the real estate is booming like anything, how does the fractional investment happens in commercial real estate is like this. There is a holding company and there will be an SPV, we call them a special purpose vehicle company, which will be created specifically to own this asset which you're going to buy. So for each of these assets which you're going to buy, or a class of assets which you're going to buy, there will be an SPV, a special purpose vehicle company that will be formed. So what you do, you have Section 42 of the Companies Act of 2013 in India. It says you can make private placements. So you can make a small private limited company, SPV, where you'll have only 5 or 6 or 10 shareholders, and these 10 shareholders would own the asset. Say for example, 10 million, you're buying an asset in Mumbai, or in Bangalore, or in Chennai, or in Delhi, you can own this 10 million asset. If there are 10 people, equally they can divide as 1 million, and that will be the share that they will own it on the SPV, and that will boil down to the asset which they're owning it. So they'll own the shares, and tomorrow, if they want to disown the asset, as she told, you can just sell it to your partner or the co-owners in that particular thing, or it can be even traded to somebody else as well. So now what we do is we take the 10 million capital asset or a real estate asset and divide them into 10 shares in this example, classic example, and that that can be traded. So this is the greatest human evolution in terms of fractionalizing your real estate, which was not possible in the olden days of decades before, where we were just purchasing the entire 10 million by one person only, which will be costlier and not a practical thing. So in this way, the SPV will be operating on the SPV will be owning the asset, and you as shareholders will own the asset collectively. This is called as collective consumption. This is called what? A collective consumption idea, where you collectively own the real estate. There will also be an escrow account owned by the trustees, where all the accounts will be coming in through the bank accounts, and there will be a complete compliance in terms of regulations of banking, in terms of anti-money laundering, whatsoever you call it as. So it's a fantastic human evolution. In 1700s and 1600s, the East India Company and the corporate world was built in the English land. They brought in a concept called an artificial person called corporate wheel, correct or not? So now we have LLCs, companies. So companies like you and me can sign the contract with the common seal. Companies can get married. How? Through mergers. Companies can diverse like you and me, because they do demergers. Like humans, they've created an artificial entity. That's a great idea. Similarly, today, the real estate market has got evolved, wherein you can own the real estate not singularly but plurally through the democratization, which gives an idea of diversifying the asset, also owning the real estate asset in terms of divided value of shares. So
Amazing.
these are all the concepts that got evolved in it, and this is how the modus operandi of this happens. And you can own these assets in different classes in different cities. So you can have 10 different, instead of putting 10 million in one particular asset, you can put 1 million in each of these SPV companies. One you can own in Riyadh, one you can own it in Mumbai, one you can own it in Germany, whatnot. So this is the fantastic invention of human mind to fractionalize your assets.
Great.
Okay, that's a great discussion we had on this particular idea of how it operates. Now I would take this this to another subtopic of this discussion, is that what are the benefits? We talk about a great idea of this fractional investment. What do you think are the benefits to the investor as compared to a traditional investment?
Yeah, I said, so first of all, you have the benefit that you only need a small investment from an investor's point of view, and you can spread your investment, your portfolio across different countries, as you mentioned, different projects, so commercial, retail, whatever you want to invest. New projects like off-plan as well, and secondary market. And obviously then you have the advantage that everything is less costly. Before you had to go to notary, blah, blah, blah. There's a very long process that you had to run through to get finally what you want. And also you have the time advantage, and you have the advantage that you can have 3 income streams and 3 ways to make profit. So one is you participate in the increase of the real estate, first of all. Then the increase of the token price. The more people invest in the same project, the higher the token goes, and the token we trade at the open market. And you have always the opportunity to swap the token against the real estate share, so you get for sure your money back. So the total loss risk is not there. You cannot have a total loss at all. You can only benefit from those increase in value over time. Obviously, also, if you want to hand over the property to your children, it's easier in terms of transfer and less complicated. And it's mobile. You can store the tokens in your ledger, in your wallet. You can travel the world. It's safe. Nobody can steal it. So you have a lot of benefits from an investor side. And this is amazing. So everybody can now really invest in real estate.
Fantastic. And I think I don't have any more list remaining to explain. You have covered almost exhaustively all the list of advantages. But nevertheless, I just thought of adding some few points to that. See, as I was talking for we were talking for last 20-25 minutes, is that the greatest advantage of fractional investment in commercial real estate investments, or any other real estate investment for that matter, is democratization. I just keep on pondering on this term democratization, because it has made common men like you and me to own luxury assets, which wasn't possible to individually invest from your side anywhere in your lifetime. Sometimes all your life savings would not be enough to own a flat in Burj Khalifa. Correct? So this is the wow idea, a great idea where we can jointly own it. That's the first thing. Second thing is that by introducing a lot of technology to that, blockchain was something Ms. Nicola was starting from today's session referring to. They've introduced shared ledgers. They're talking about blockchain systems being introduced in Dubai Land Department to own your contractual agreements. So technology has seamlessly gone into the real estate markets, so also into commercial real estates, so also in fractional commercial real estates, where all these commercial real estate management companies offering you fractional investment services, they have a lot of technology infused into this particular, into this market, where they talk about a lot of dashboards to you, talking about on your laptop, on your mobiles, what are the various class of investments across the globe you can participate as a fractional investor, as similar to the thought of a stock market. But without the risk of the stock markets, you need to understand fractional investments are not mark to market. What I mean by that is, it's not like our traditional investment stock markets. When the markets goes up and down, you are having the market risk. But here, the risk is very much an exclusive, limited only to the real estate market. You are just owning the real estate through a shared format of what you call the shares. But those shares are not getting traded in the market, and because of that, you're losing the value. In fact, there is only gaining in the value. As you know, real estates are limited assets. There's always an upgrade in the real estate markets in terms of capital appreciation, and also a fixed rate of returns you get in terms of rental income. So these fractional investment market, intermediate market providers or market experts or real estate agents, they provide you a lot of services wherein you can peacefully invest your share in that particular thing, get your time focused on something else where you get a rental income on a regular basis. They give a lot of advices. How can you shift your shares? You buy the share today on investing in Munich. Tomorrow you think there is going to be an appreciation in New York. You can just shift the share from Munich to New York markets, to New York to the Mumbai markets, to Mumbai to China markets, to Australia to Dubai. So it's a seamlessly technology-driven market because it is held like a share. But unlike the share markets, you do not run the risk of your market value goes up because it is not mark to market. So blockchains, artificial intelligence, dashboards, real-time data in terms of the fractional shares that is going up and down, that all is available in your lap, in your palm, so that you can seamlessly trade on this particular thing, and you can spread your risk across various investments, and you can diversify the risk. So this is what I think the greatest advantage you can have by fractionalizing the commercial real estate. Now going to the next part, having said rosy picture about the so-called fractional investment, Ms. Nicola, what do you think the challenges are there, or what is the investors should take note of getting before getting to these types of novel ideas of markets?
Yeah, so this is very imperative that you get the proper education, understanding of the topic. And obviously, as with all assets, it's very important to really check where I put my money in. So to do a proper in-depth analysis of the real estate that I want to invest, also check all the assets, proof of ownership, and this is really secure, market prediction for this asset, and also the law and regulational terms that I mentioned before. Is this really from the process-wise? Is it from the asset-wise? And also from the market potential, the right investment personally for me? So what do I want to get out of it? So obviously we are also looking at higher returns on invest than with the standard real estate, with the physical ones. This is also important to mention. So at the moment you look with a standard real estate asset between, if you look at retail, 7 to 10% in the UAE. If you do holiday rental, it can be up to 20%. But if you have a good investment in a fractional
real estate asset, it can be up to 100% in a couple of weeks. Yeah, so this is the beauty. In terms of trading, we go in very quickly and go out and have a lot of return on investment. As you said, you can swap easily, and this is a very dynamic market, and I see it similar to options and futures, where we do a lot of money in like 2 or 3 minutes even, yeah? So if you look at the standard tokens, not even Dutch coin, but MoME and all the others, you can do a lot of money in seconds. So again, it's not only long-term investment that you had before in the classic world with real estate. You hold it for 10 years in Europe to get it tax-free when you sell it. But here you can make a lot of money and have fun in a couple of hours. So, and this also attracts a different buyer type and a different type of owner that wants to make money very quickly. So, and we need to understand this when I invest in assets. What is the scenario? What is the setup? Who is playing into this asset as well? Is there somebody who's pushing the asset very much, like big volumes? Similar at the stock market, are institutional clients pushing in money, and where's the smart money is going? So we're looking at the different world in real estate trading. And this is, yeah, it's also challenging, especially if you're new on this platform and don't know what to do. That's why you should seek advice from people like we are teaching, educating, do co-investments with people, or share the tokens, get the audits on the process, certificates from Kudelski, for instance, that also audited Crypto.com and Microsoft. We did it for the diamonds, so everything is 100% proven, and you get everything as an investor as well, and you can follow the process to make it a safe and very valuable investment.
Fantastic. I think you went in details and deliberated a lot on what are the challenges and how to mitigate those challenges also. You did not say only the problem, you also gave the solution. Just a few points to add to that. Like any other investments in any part of the world, you will always have that there is a risk in any investments, correct or not? So because of that, you have to always be careful in selecting the assets which you are investing in terms of real estate. But the fractional investment model has its own risk, but you're talking about the final underlying asset itself also has a risk that cannot be minimized by a fractional investment alone. So you need to select the asset class itself in the proper way by analyzing, by taking experts' advice in which area we need to invest, in which type of assets which we need to take in. Now, second, if you come to the fractional investment, I don't see any challenge into it. In fact, it is only helping you because the fractional investment itself is designed in a way to diversify your risk. But one risk I see is that, as she said, it's easy money, right? So people are always attracted towards making faster money. So that is where the risk comes in. Wherein in a traditional investment, you have to wait for 4 years, 5 years, you're locked in so that you cannot do a gambling there. Just to make a point that you cannot just do short selling easily there. But here, because it's in the share format, you can do it to buy today and sell it tomorrow. And you may think that you made some profit, but you could have waited for some more time and you could have made more profits. So, it's something similar to a share market or a securities market. You may tend to have some risk attached to that, but you need to know how to balance it and take it forward. But fractional investment, if you say, it's only a great advantage in itself in diversifying the whole portfolio of your real estate investments. Now, coming to the next very important point is that, what do you think your companies are doing in respect of this particular evolving concept of fractional market? What do you do in your companies for this particular things?
So one is that we have our academy where we coach and mentor people. So they can take different classes in real estate investment, digital asset investment. We also explain trading of coins, tokens, NFTs, and obviously all the classic assets like investment in gold, in diamonds, also in stock options, futures, and Forex. So we have a very broad offering. And also for investors, we do one-to-ones, in-depth analysis of their financial
objective situation and where they want to go, and how we then can support them, either with a company setup, with corporate structure, with the investment. So we work closely with all the real estate developers and the agencies, and we offer the right investment opportunity for them. And then we also digitalize their assets. So for the owners, it's a great platform. We develop the token, we work with specialized blockchain experts, smart contract application marketplaces, and then we also trade the assets for them. So it's like done for you service, but they can also do it on their own if they like. So that's why we educate them and we support them on the whole journey. And for the investors, we have a nice portfolio on investment opportunities, be it digitalized diamonds. It's also nice to diversify the portfolio with gold and with real estate. So for the more conservative investors and for the more risk-averse or risk-taking investors, we trade across different asset classes like Forex, commodities, options, and futures. And that is how we balance their portfolio. So it's a very broad and different approach to what there is on the market typically. So we said, no, we come from the macro environment. We trade different countries, different asset classes, and we hedge the risk with options and with the balance of those more traditional tokenized asset classes. And this is going very well, and there is also where I see the future, because then you have a better risk balance, while you still have a very high return on investment. So we boost the performance, and that is why we can kind of really have a safe prediction of up to 11 to 15% per month. And this is quite a lot if you think what you usually get out of your investment. So this is amazing, and I think this is a way to go in the future, to really educate, communicate about these advantages, and also support the people to mitigate the risk and to boost their performance.
Fantastic. I think your company is doing a lot of work on popularizing the idea of fractional investment specifically in the domain of commercial real estate. And they are doing also training and coaching on that to spread the knowledge, to educate the people, because right knowledge and right education is very important to take right decisions. And right decisions will lead to right profit making and in the long run, right? I think you guys are doing a great job. And coming to our company, we're also having the real estate segment. All these times we were following the traditional model of selling a single asset to a single owner, right? Or many assets to a single owner. So now we are also infusing the idea of fractional investment into our selling model. So the SPAs, the selling and purchase agreements, wherein multiple owners can come and co-own the assets. And we are also working with the land departments. We are also working with the legal experts. How contractually that would be easy for the people to get attracted to these type of investments. I think we will work with your company also in future to take more of advice from your expertise to see how we can help the common investors in the market to get into a fractional investment and make good returns for them also in the future. Now we are coming to end of the session, and just the last but not the least question is that, how do you see, Ms. Nicola, the future of the fractional investment in commercial real estate specific in this region and in global at large?
Yeah, especially in this region. I mean, the real estate market is booming like never before, and the future is very bright. Giving that more and more investors discover this market, giving that more and more projects are launched, giving that the economy is booming here as well, and it's very easy for investors. You mentioned the golden visa, and even if you have a smaller amount of money, you can get the investor visa for 2 years, and this is amazing. So I think especially here in this region, it is very good, and the fractionalization, given that Dubai is the #1 city in the world blockchain-based, advanced in infrastructure. 30% of the inhabitants have a digital wallet, so they are more educated and more advanced to pay with cryptocurrencies. And this is where the money is at the moment. So this is where it's also very important that you can pay with cryptocurrencies for your real estate assets and for the tokens. So those people are the early adopters because they know already how to invest and how to put up a wallet, how to do a ledger. So these are little, I say, hurdles and challenges for the others that still need to learn how to do it. And there we step in and teach them and show them and open a wallet for them and, give them all the way and support that they need. But I think in the rest of like Europe and is picking up, definitely. So, and there are projects, as I mentioned, especially in Germany and Switzerland. I was 15 years in Switzerland, and there we have Crypto Valley and all the projects and the new exchanges coming up and marketplaces for tokenization. Definitely, they will also have a lot of benefits, especially if you look at the real estate markets over there in Europe. Currently, they are in a recession, so the market prices are falling, the mortgages are higher and higher, so more people will change and say, okay, it's better to invest without a mortgage. I cannot afford the high interest rates anymore. I do tokenization. So, and many people cannot sell their properties. We always think, oh, it's so easy, but in other countries, I'm telling you, people need to wait 2-3 years to find the right buyer. And this is a lot of time where they actually can make more money with this money that is still bound in real estate and other asset classes. So I think the future is definitely in a tokenization.
Fantastic, fantastic. I think you said it so right, starting from this region to also to the Western regions. And I just want to touch up as a final point to what you said and add up to that is that the markets on the commercial real estate and the fractional investment segment of that is really, really booming across the globe. And in this part of the region, and you can see a lot of investments happening in both industrial side and also on the residential side. If you talk about even in the GCC region, Saudi markets are booming like anything with the new leadership in there, where they're talking about the leader of that particular country has very clearly said that you'll see the next Europe in the Middle East. You will see the next Europe in the Middle East. So they're talking about the next revolutionization that is happening in the Middle East with the leadership happening in this part of the region in GCC, where they are very clear in their vision in terms of taking up a lot of investments, especially in terms of infrastructure. Infrastructure leads to a lot of investment to commercial real estate investment as well. So there is a big boom happening in this region. Also, there could be a short-term recession that's happening in the Western market, but that's still a good chance for investments. And in the American market, still the recession is setting in, but I think that is going to happen, pick up in few years very soon to that. Now that the eastern part of the world is doing great in terms of Asia, in terms of Pacific regions. In India, there's a great boom. It's happening. It's one of the nations that's growing for next few years in terms of growth rate. So I think globally, there is a mixed news, but still for commercial real estate, it's always a great news. Whether it is recession, you can go and buy and invest. If there is an inflation, still you can buy because inflation again increases your price within few years to have a capital appreciation. In any way you look at it, the real estate investment is always a great investment for all of us in terms of a real asset. It's not something a fictitious asset. It's a real asset in which we are investing in. And fractional investment is a new format of democratization of investments for all the common people like you and me. And I think this technology, this innovation is going to set in a new future for all of us to participate in all the format of commercial real estate investment. It's not just residential investments. We as common men can also be a business owners of commercial real estate in format of fractional investment format. So with this final note, I would thank Ms. Nicola and the MoRE conference team and all the participants and the listeners and the attendees for your patient listening. And thanks a lot once again for all of you. And now we can open up for at least or a maximum 2 questions, because considering the time factor. 2 questions, please. Help them with the mic. There is one speaker wants to. Yes, sir.
First of all, fantastic, discussion. The very lot of insightful thoughts and the information. My question is, in terms of the fractional investment, how do you differentiate between the real estate investment trust? This is also something similar to the one which also gives the ability to own fractional, not in terms of the REITs. Also is enables the trading, and
Got
but
it, sir.
only one good thing is that you have some in cases the minimum distribution of the income also is an advantage in REIT. The second quick question is that in terms of the tokenization, what is the regulatory framework and who controls this? I don't know, maybe in different countries it may be different. Just want to have an understanding on that.
Sure. I'll add some point and then I'll give it to Ms. Nicola also. The first question is, what is the difference between REIT, we call it as Real Estate Investment Trust, and fractional investment, right? See, some of the different, there are many differences. I would just, considering time, put some many differences between these two. The first thing is like a trust investment where the investor do not have the choice to select the asset pool in specific to what he likes. There is already a portfolio that is selected, that is offered by the REIT trust to you. So you are limited as investor to select from the portfolios. Second, if you look at REIT in India specifically, you cannot sell the asset not less than completing 3 years. But if you talk about real estate owning in terms of fractional investment, today you buy and tomorrow you can sell it. So these are the 2 main differences I would call it as. Second thing is, our third thing, as I told you, the real democratization is not happening into the trust investment, because you are not allowed to have a freedom to select the asset classes, asset cities, or asset classification according to your own style. There is a limitation. But in fractional investment, you are given a full freedom of your diversification, and that is where the democratization is also happening. That's why the whole session went on that particular nomenclature called democratization. The second part of the question in terms of regulations, right? To be very frank, there is no specific regulation that would be regulating this particular market, because it's like any other real estate markets. But there are regulations for the companies which are doing these operations. For example, special purpose vehicle for private placement. Section 42 of the Companies Act in 2013 of India, Indian Companies Act, regulates this, something called the private placement, not only for the special purpose vehicle for real estate investment, but for any specific SPVs. So there are specific regulations for controlling the SPVs, but there is no specific granular level regulation that would be requirement for the fractional investment. But I think more investments happening in that market, that will really call for more regulation that will come in. Now there is no SEBI regulation specifically for that. It's completely coming into the Companies Act of India in Indian context. In UAE, I would call land department would come into picture, and any other licensing authorities like DED, what regulations they put, that will come into picture. But otherwise, it's a new idea of investment. So I think if there is new challenges and any fraudulent practice that may come in future, that would invite the new regulation to come and regulate it. This is what my call on that. Ms. Nicola.
Yeah, very well answered. So this is the current situation. So it's like cryptocurrency some years before, where everything was not quite clear, and now it gets more and more regulated. So it depends on case by case. So we are always in the process with lawyers to verify what we can do and not can do, depending on where the asset is based, in which country, and what kind of environment we have.
Thanks a lot, and considering the time, we will close up the session. Thanks once again for all of you
Thank you very much.
really participating in this today's session. Thanks once again.